Let's make sure they say something. Yeah, Ron.
I just, Michael Tabib couldn't be here today, but he has the hall for the performing arts down the street there. His only and he didn't know about this meeting, but his only concern with the amplified music, I think he had it some time ago, but at the same time he was having his performance there. So it interfered with the performers and his, plays or whatever event it was. So he's hoping that you would coordinate with that other people that are putting on events, so that we, they can have their event successful, and you can have yours, and not combine the two.
Is there anything in town that's sort of the equivalent of like where the people who are doing kind of artistic or cultural things kind of,
There are places.
Okay. I agree. And also, if there's coordination, also it could actually allow for nice complementary things. Like
exactly.
Like there's the supper club happening on Monday nights and at a certain time, and like it happens to be a nice film that's kind of like the kind of thing that they want to see. That happens to be on first Monday of every month, or something where it's more complementary in terms of how we think about.
The Russian River Chamber of Commerce in downtown Durville, they put out the weekly bulletin of everything happening in the Cold area. You can look at that every week and every month.
But you can also meet with Michael Tabib and see what his schedule. I know he has an Italian play coming up in August, and then they have a gala night where they actually serve their wine and food and whatever.
Michael Tabib?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Sure.
Anyway, that was his main concern, because it did interfere with his performance.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Anybody else? Ryan, and then up here.
We recently went up to Portland and visited my son who lives up there. And he grew up here in Monte Rio. And he said, I'm going to take you to a movie. So we went out to this theater. And at this movie theater, they had sofas that you sat on. And they had an ottoman in front of the sofa. And you could order food and wine. And they brought it to you right there in the theater. And the people love it. They love it. And there are several of these theaters up there, and they're doing quite well. And it's not any more expensive than a regular movie theater, but you can eat and you can drink, and I never saw anybody rowdy or out of hand or anything like that. It was one of the coolest movie experiences I ever had.
Yeah, no, we love that.
And I'd just like to add too that if you guys want to have live music here, there are hundreds of musicians in this area that would just love to have a place to play. So it's a win-win, I think. I think you guys are doing a wonderful job, and I hope everything works out for you.
Well, thank you for your comment, Brent.
I have a question actually from Sherry.
Sure.
Here, and she wanted to know what it means to you. This doesn't.
Well, basically, where we are in the process right now is that we did all the work with the county. They talked to all the different departments. The fire people came. We now have a plan for how to solve that. We still have to do some construction to actually make sure that firewall is officially approved, and we have to get that front area set up so that it really does work. There needs to be a sidewalk for people to walk by it, just to make sure that it's really clean and clear. So that's like all that's left on the county side. When the note went out, there was two comments filed, Ken and Peter, and if they feel like their concerns have been met, and they choose to rescind their comments, then we'll probably be able to start serving beer and wine at the end of the month, like pretty soon, basically. If they choose not to rescind their comments, they feel like their concerns have not been addressed, then we have to wait 9 weeks before there's another more formal, official public thing that happens that's led by the county, and then a few months after that, who knows what happens after that. So, for all intents and purposes, it's either we're able to take advantage of the summer season or we're not. And so it would obviously be great to be able to, given that it is the summer, it's starting basically now, and to be able to take advantage of this and to start the process of testing what actually works and what people feel comfortable with and make it work. So obviously, we prefer that. It would be a lot better for the sustainability of making this a place that can make enough money to really grow and thrive even more. If it doesn't, then it would mean we have to wait until, who knows, probably September, October time. Yeah. anybody else that really just wants to ask or make a comment? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Bill, I talked to you when it came in. I'm one of the many musicians in the area. I've been here a long time. Event planner, produced shows for a long time. So I'd be the first one to discourage any music venue starting up, because it's part of my industry. The only thing I have concerns about is, as a heads up, is if you start booking music here, what you book here, what you bring in is going to attract the clientele that you got coming in. Now if you got a classical guitars playing or a little duo or something, I don't know if you're planning on doing any. Is it just solo music, or will there be dancing? Because that makes a big difference. You planning on doing that? Having dancing?
No. I mean, I think the clearest statement about what our intentions are around like the kind of things is around our statement around culture and what you've seen so far. And so I don't know exactly. I think that it's important to get that right. We want to attract and have this be something that's really exciting for the community. But I think your point is that depending on what you choose, it changes. It dramatically impacts the vibe.
You have to be careful. I book all the music at Rio Theater, and I have been for about 8 years. Now the bands that come in, they get a lot of people coming in. There's a lot of local bands that have big following, and they'll attract a wild crowd. Now at Rio Theater, they have a big lawn area where they can just like let them out in the pasture, and they're just out there partying and jumping around, and they're in and out of the bar and everything. But you guys are a little restricted here with your space available, and I open out the concern to me about when I think about opening up the patio. It's a tough intersection. Logistically, you're located in a place you can have some big time problems. You get like a huge gathering, and they're parking across the street, and people are running back and forth. I don't know how you could control the traffic and the danger of people going back and forth, cars coming back and forth. I see all kinds of things. I see it all the time. So
your advice is basically to stay, do the kinds of things that are going to be less rowdy, basically. That's like your advice is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So
Just real quickly, what's your total capacity in this room?
Yeah, that was another question.
Sharon, what is the total capacity currently? I mean, we basically have, right now we just installed these middle seats, and these ones were temporary for that big Russian River documentary that happened last weekend, which was 100% full.
We have a capacity up to 220. We're currently installed for closer to 130 right now. But we have the allowance to go to 220 in here. Prior to the cafe, it was 280, 320, but then we built out the backside, so they took out a bunch of
So it's really no larger than a big wedding.
that includes the septic capacity,
It'll
correct?
never be more than that.
Yeah.
It'll never be more.
Remember we had the red chairs, we changed to the blue chairs, so we're